Hey, it's Coach Pam from Coach Pam Fitness. I'm messing things up. Welcome to, I can't see y'all. Hi. Welcome to Tasty Tuesday. So my kids are still in school. They have one more week. Friday is the last day. Some of you have already been on break for a while, but so I have been preparing a list of foods I'm going to have in the freezer so that they're healthy snacks. I don't know about your kids, but my kids are all about buy me the mini muffins in the Hostess or Entenmann's mini muffins in the packs. I refuse to buy them. It's just a load of junk in there. They have artificial ingredients. They're just not good. I refuse to buy them. And I have a blueberry muffin that is to die for that the boys absolutely love. So I'm going to turn them into mini muffins. My little tin I have sprayed with coconut oil. And if I have enough batter, I'm going to turn them also into baked donuts. They will be very happy about that. So a lot of people, I was a former baker. When my 16-year-old was like 2, I was going to start a bakery in my kitchen, but then he hit the terrible 3s. It's not the 2s, it's the 3s, right? So I stopped. But I have a passion for baking and for converting recipes into healthy treats. So I do a mixture of all-purpose flour and white whole wheat, depending on the recipe. I will either use all whole wheat or white whole wheat, or half and half. Half white all-purpose flour, half white whole wheat. And it just depends on the recipe. Like for a muffin, I have found that when you use all white whole wheat flour, they tend to be a little too dense. So some people have asked me what the difference between the flours are. And basically, it's how the type of flour, there's a million different types of flour, just like there's different types of apples and watermelons and corn and all that stuff. So it's the type of wheat that the flour is made from, how it's milled, and even when it's harvested, which I didn't realize that was one of the things, but it also boils down to the protein content. Obviously, the denser the flour, the denser the protein content, which develops more gluten. And gluten is what forms the structure of your baked good. It's what makes bread dense and chewy, and it's what makes the least amount of it is what makes muffins and cakes light and airy and moist and scrumptious, really. So gluten is formed by, when you're baking a cake or you're mixing muffins or pancakes or waffles, they tell you to only mix until combined, because gluten is formed by adding liquid, which is why you always add liquid to the flour after the fact, after you have it all measured, and then when you're baking cakes or cookies or whatever, you stir only until combined. Otherwise, you're going to develop the gluten. Liquid helps develop the gluten, as does stirring and kneading develops the gluten. So, like, for example, bread flour has a high protein content. I think it's like 10 grams of protein, something like that. And cake flour, pastry flour has the least amount of protein. So if you want to make light, airy cakes, you should really use cake flour. I never have cake flour, so I just use all-purpose flour with a light touch. I also sift it with my whisk. Then let's see, what else was I going to tell you? So also the difference is white flour, white all-purpose flour, white cake flour is highly refined, so all the nutrients are pretty much gone. There's really no fiber left in it. And wheat flour and white wheat flour are less processed, less milled, so they have a higher nutrient content and higher fiber content. And we always need lots of fiber in our diet. So that's why I substitute some of my baked goods with white whole wheat flour versus regular whole wheat flour. It has a stronger taste. White whole wheat flour has less of a taste. I actually make my chocolate chip cookies strictly with white whole wheat flour. I don't substitute those out. But anyway, I will have a conversion chart on how you can substitute. Put my notes out of the way. And so I'm going to show you also, if you can see, you should see how I set myself up to videotape. It's pretty funny. But anyway, so this is all-purpose flour. If you can see, it's very white, all processed, nothing, no nutrients left in it. This is white. I should probably have a white cup. White whole wheat flour. And it's darker. I don't know if you can see that. See, it's a little darker, not quite as dark as what a regular whole wheat flour would look like, but it's a little darker. It's got more nutrients. It's got a little bit of a nuttier flavor. And I don't know if you guys know how to measure flour, but some people do it wrong. I'm just going to say it. So to measure flour, because you don't want too much flour in your baked goods. So baking is a science. You never want to alter a baked good recipe very much. I take a smaller measuring spoon. See if I can make this so you can see it a little better. Let's see if that works. Okay. And then you gently put it in your measuring cup. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? And then you overfill it a bit, and then you just take a knife. Let's see if I can do this out. There we go. And then you just flatten it out, and that's how you measure a cup. So I'm going to dump that in there because I have half all-purpose flour and half white whole wheat. I find that makes a more tender muffin than using all white whole wheat flour. Then I have eggs, oil, and orange juice in here. Citrus and blueberry go hands in hand. So I like to use, my recipe calls for milk, but I don't like to use milk. I like to use orange juice. It just gives it a little pop of flavor. And I have some lemon zest. Remember I talked to you one time about zesting a lemon and citrus. You don't want to get the white pith because that'll make everything a little bit bitter. And I would have had more lemon zest, but someone's been using all my lemons. And you just whisk it together, the eggs, the oil, the orange juice, and then, by the way, I'm making blueberry muffins. Did I say that? I don't even know if I said that or not. Then you just dump your liquid, like I said. You don't want to develop the gluten. Dump that into your dry, and you stir only until combined. You just want to fold it gently because you don't want to develop gluten, because then you will have a really tough, non-delicious muffin. And I've done that before. They're not good. You could use them like a paperweight or to hold door open, really, sometimes when I've made them. So, see, I've barely mixed that, and then I need to get my blueberries because I forgot to get them out. And I prefer, I'll show you. I use frozen blueberries just because they're easier to have on hand. They're less expensive, and these Wyman are wild blueberries, and they're teeny tiny. They're teeny tiny compared to what we buy in the grocery store, and I just think these make a better muffin. They will, however, turn your muffins purple, but that's okay. How much? 1 cup of muffins. And then this you just carefully want to fold in. Pop those back in the freezer, and you just carefully want to fold it because you've already mixed it, so you don't want to overwork it. That's it, and had I not been talking to you, these would have been in the oven in less than 10 minutes. Quicker than it takes you to go to the store to buy those Entenmann's mini yucky muffins. And then because I am making mini muffins, I'm using a mini ice cream scoop. If I was making regular size muffins, I would use a regular size ice cream scoop. This just makes everything more even, so it bakes more even. And you just scoop it into your pan. That's it. Pop it in the oven. You've got a delicious, homemade, healthier treat than what you would buy in the grocery store already made. And it takes really no time at all. And my kids love them actually more than the Entenmann's. They just like the fact that the Entenmann's are pre-packaged and all their friends have it. You know how that goes, peer pressure. So anyway, this will be on my website later on today, as will my blog about the different types of flowers and what you can use them for. I hope that you have found this interesting in how you can substitute flowers, and I hope you enjoy this recipe because it really is probably one of the best homemade blueberry muffins I have found. And what else was I going to say? Oh, if you would like, on Friday, Fun Food Fact Friday, I am going to be talking about the difference between ice cream, sherbet, and sorbet. And I will be making a homemade sorbet. Stay tuned because it's going to be delicious. So anyway, start making a big batch of muffins or cookies or whatever to have on hand in your freezer for when your kids are home. Because if your kids are anything like mine, they're going to act all summer long like I've never fed them before in their lives. So that's why I'm starting now. I'm going to do something else tomorrow just to get ready for summer. I'm excited about summer. Anyway, thanks for watching. This is Coach Pam from Coach Pam Fitness. Have a fantastic Tuesday, and we'll see you soon. Oh, if you want a recipe converted into something healthy, please put it in the comments, and I will do my best to try and healthify it a bit. Have a fantastic day.